welcome. I have tried to record this intro a couple of times. Don't know why I'm so rusty. I am on a regular schedule of every other week, so. But anyways, welcome back. If you are subscribed, if you have watched me before, this is a channel about cross stitch. My name is Cameron. I go by Cam the Stitcher, and this is a channel about cross stitch. Did I already say that? Today, I never know what day it is, and I never say it in my videos, but today is Thursday, March 9th. You'll probably see this like Friday. But yeah, 2023. Thanks to those that have subscribed and have liked my videos and commented on my videos. I really appreciate it. It's been quite lovely. I will say I also have been getting into books, and so my last video I got into book talk at the end, and I will save that for the end again this time. But a couple of people asked if I had a Goodreads account, and I do, and so I will link that below in the description box, as well as my Instagram, which is Cam the Stitcher. And then I will also link my Buy Me a Coffee. I did just set that up, haven't really talked about it. There's no pressure by any means. It's just another way for you guys to support the channel. Any coffees that you buy me will be used for future giveaways. Hopefully when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that would be awesome. And just like things for this channel. So I will say someone already did buy me a coffee, and that was really lovely, and I want to thank that person. So thank you so much. But yeah, so let's get into it. So I just have cross stitch for you guys today. Very small amount of haul, and then book talk. So also I want to talk about my goals. Before book talk, I will talk a little bit about my goals so far. I mean, it's March, so we've got like 2 full months under our belts. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about what's been happening and how I feel so far and whip go and all those things. So but first I will start with a finish. I love saying that. I feel so accomplished. Okay, so as you all know, if you've watched my last 2 Flosstube updates, I have been battling, just going to war with a particular piece of fabric. And that was for the Star Woman Stitch Along by Barbara Anna Designs. And I really love this pattern, and so I was like, I'm gonna have to power through. And I had already put so many stitches in, and I was like, I gotta do it. So the 3rd part came out March 1st, so that was priority number 1 for me to get this thing done, so I'd never have to touch this fabric again. So this is stitched on 32 count Da Vinci Opalescent Lugana by Picture This Plus, and this is my finish. Oh my god, she's so cute. Yeah. So the last time you saw it, I had done parts 1 and 2. Part 1 was this, the frame of it, you know, and the lights and everything. And then part 2 was the, like wings and body area. And so part 3 was, her face and this wild flame hair, which is amazing. I love the little blue stars and her blue eyeshadow, which I did rock in my last video. And today I'm rocking the rainbow, so yes. I'm very happy with her. My stitches, again, they don't look the best because this was such a tight weave, but it is done. I am happy, and I can't wait to fully finish this. I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. I mean, I think I'll find like a cute little frame or something, like something to mount it on. But yeah, I have a whole other half of this. I don't know. Hey, if anybody wants it, like, it's all yours. It is all yours. But yeah, so I'm very happy with this. That's it. I mean, what can I say? She's gorge. And I just was so happy when I put that last stitch in, I'll tell you what. So the next whip, or the first whip, work in progress I have to show you today. I want to go ahead and let's get my full coverage out here. Let's get the star of the show, right? All right, so Marjorie from Marjorie Made and Hannah from, I think it's MN Stitches or something like that. Again, I will, and I've linked her below, my past 2 videos when I mentioned this. I'll link them both below, but they started a full coverage stitch along called Rip My Whips Sal, or like RIP My Whips Sal. And I was very tempted, even though I already have 2 full coverages. I have 2 Hades going on at the moment. But I bought this a couple of weeks ago. I've shown it in my videos before, showed this last week. The chart is called Arcadia, charted by Hade. The artwork is by Bob Doucette. And I started this for Rip My Whips Sal. There we go. And this is where I've gotten to. So I would have shown you where I was last time I showed this, which was a very small start. I definitely had the bubble, but like, oh my God, I'm obsessed. Okay, I think that's the start of a butterfly wing, which is exciting. And also, I mentioned this as well, I am using the Royal Rose method for perking. So far, so good. I will say, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I think I am doing it right, but like, I'm just scared. So I am doing, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm doing 2 strands of DMC over 1 half stitch or tent stitch. And when you get up close, like, it looks, honestly, it looks fine on camera. I don't know. Obviously, when you take it back here, you're like, oh, that's a picture. I see it. That bubble is giving this is what's motivating me. I swear, like, if this was all just like greenery with no bubble, like, I would have been a little bored, which is what my other 2 Hades are at the moment. It's just a lot of greenery. And so I think that's why I lost a bit of motivation. But with this one, you get right into, there's a bubble, there's a butterfly wing coming up here. And I'm like, this is still the first page, obviously, but I'm only like 4 squares in, like columns in, rows. There we go. But yeah, it's working out so far. I'm gonna be really transparent, show you my back. So this is the only thing that makes me nervous, is because like you're parking over, like down, like wherever that first stitch is. And then I'm like obviously going over here to end threads. And so it is like feeling a bit bulky. But then again, like it would be, to me, I'm thinking like it's gonna be bulky no matter what. I mean, because this whole method is like to wrangle your threads a bit better, right? Full coverage stitchers, do you know what I'm saying? Whatever, I'm having fun. It's been like a really good time, so I am gonna continue this month to kind of just pull that out when I feel like it, not so much like, I don't have a goal on that. That is just like for funsies, essentially. So yeah, so that was the first whip for this month. My next whip, we haven't seen her in a while. Let's bring her out. Possibly the bane of many people's existence in the stitching world, but also like, we love her. So this is the Dark Queen of the Earth Stitch Along by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I finally pulled this out again because I was like, girl, you gotta do something with it. Because I had just finished, I think last time I showed it to you, I had finished part, is it 4? Like the really big part that had a lot of stitching, and I was like, I can't. And I had moved on to part 5, but I was just like, I can't do it. But I did. So, oh my God, she's so wrinkled. let me just, that's a little bit better. So this is the part that I worked on and I finished. And then you can see like this was also part of it. So I did finish this. So I have finished part 5, which was technically a goal for February, I think I had. But I'd finished this at like at the beginning of March. Because I really didn't pull it out in February, hardly at all. And then this was the big part I was talking about. So the next part, which was released in February, is her bodice and I think some more branches and stuff. And then instead of doing the face this month, they released another part that's like this huge swirl of a branch. And it's a lot of stitches and I'm not looking forward to that, but I also don't know if I want to stitch the bodice yet because there's a possibility that they might come out with an option where she is not fully clothed, like, you know? And I don't know, that sounds cool. I want to see what it looks like before I stitch the bodice, but the bodice is really beautiful, so I might just stitch it, but we'll see. So yeah, that is my Dark Queen. She's wrinkled, whatever. Let's see, whip number 3. I don't have a lot of progress on it, but I did work on it technically. So, this is one of the bags I made last 3 weeks ago. So this is the Modern Folk Embroideries 2023 Stitch Along Reaching Skyward. And I have some hanging threads, so bear with me here. I don't remember. I think I had barely touched part 2 last time I showed it to you. And I did pull it out one more day and I finished this border, and then I did a couple of these little snowflake doodads, and then I started the deer head, which is super cute, and it sucks because I love this piece so much and I love the colors that I picked. But I just committed to so many stitch alongs that like I'm not pulling this out as much as I should be. But Star Woman Sal is done, and that did take up a majority of my stitching in February, I will say. But these are the 2 colors. Oh, I have fuzzies on them from my blanket. Roxy Floss Co. Charlie Brown for the brown, and then Great Lakes for this like really dark blue. So yeah. And this is on, forgot to mention that. This is on 40 count Roxy Floss Co. linen in Billie Jean. It's like a really cool like denim color. And this is what, again, sorry this is wrinkled, but you get the idea. Yeah, so that is all I have done. I am planning on pulling this out more this month, trying to get, I don't think I'm gonna get part 3 done, but if I get part 2 done in this month, I'll feel fine. I feel okay about being like a part behind on this one. For my goals this year, I do not have this as a finish as a goal because I know myself. I am being realistic with my goals. So if I get any more than 50% done on that one by the end of the year, I'm gonna feel good. Yeah. All right. Oh, let me show this one next. So this is another stitch along that I worked on that I am caught up on, lo and behold. This is Pixel Pixie Cross Stitches Natural World Stitch Along. And I am stitching this on 32 count Exotic Orchid Lugana with Classic Colorworks. And this is where I am at. So I did finish part 2, which I think last time I showed you I was not quite done with part 2. And so I finished that last month, and now I have moved on to part 3, just kind of working on that border. My I guess strategy for this is I do like to work the border first and get that out of the way. I like stitching it, but it is like the majority of the stitching. And I will say these mountains are a lot of stitching as well. And then I save like this bottom part, the letters and the bugs to last because those are my favorite things to stitch. But yeah. And this third part has like some mushrooms and a cacao plant thing. It's really cute. But yeah. This one's like pretty easy to finish for me, like in the month. 2 or 3 stitching sessions and I'm done. And oh, the classic colorworks I'm using for this is Aura's Iris. Yeah. I don't know what I had to say there. So yeah, so that is my Natural World Stitch Along by Pixel Pixie Cross Stitch. All right. I have 2 more. I feel like I'm zooming through this, but that's okay. I have 2 more whips. So this is another one. This is a Whip Go call. I have 2 Whip Go boards. One of them is like bigger pieces and another one of them is smalls, or what I deem like smalls, whatever. This one was called for this month, and so I did pull it out already once. I have not gotten a lot of progress on it, but that's okay. I did put this as a goal to finish, but we're gonna see how that goes because I just started this. Like, this is one of my New Year Eve 12 by 12 starts. This is Beware of Cat by Birds of a Feather. I got this chart from 123 Stitch. It is licensed. So I started this in January, and I only had a little bit, and I might have a picture. I'll show you where I was last time. And then this is where I am this time. So I did the whites of the eyes, and then I just did like a couple of, I think 2 or 3 more lines of that black. And I am using the called for because I did kit this up a long time ago. So that's that. I will say I don't know if I'm gonna have enough of this black color, and I'm not repurchasing the floss, so my cat might look a little wonky by the end of it, but we're gonna go with it. So yeah, that's it. This is stitched on 32 count like Witchelt linen. I don't remember. I think it was called like Dirty or something like that. I don't remember. But I got it from 123 Stitch. Like, I just had kitted it up through 123 Stitch at the time. So yeah. So that is that. So that was a small little thing. But like the point of my like smalls Whip Go is just getting at least a little bit more progress on those smalls that I started last year at the beginning of this year, or to get some finishes. So like I have had, so exciting, I have 5 finishes so far for the year, and I think a couple of them have been starts and finishes in the year 2023. So obviously the Star Woman Sow that I just showed you, that one was a start and finish for this year. The Bennett sisters, the Jane Austen Bennett sisters by Julie, Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, that one was a start and finish. But then like I had 2, I think, that I had started last year that I've gotten finished, that I've shown on my channel. This is one of my big Whip Go calls for this month of March. And here we go. So this is the Cryptid Stitch Along by the Witchy Stitcher, which was a 2021 Stitch Along. It started in 2021, ended in 2022. Now, like, if you know me already, you know that I got really into I've been stitching since like 2014, but I really got into the Flosstube world in like new designers and things like that at the very tail end of 2021. So when I saw this, it was already well underway as a stitch along, and so I bought the pattern or the stitch along and started very late. So this one is not done, obviously. So this is a whip, and this is where I got to, and I will have put a picture of where I was last time, probably in my whip parade, from my whip parade. So luckily I have the whole frame done. I was smart and got that out of the way in 2022. And so what I worked on, I pulled this out last night. What I worked on was I finished this frame out and filled this frame in with the little creature in Field Horror. So that was really fun. These go so quick. Like, so my plan for this, luckily it was called for WIPGO this month, so I'm definitely gonna get some progress. My goal this month is to get 3 creatures done. I already have 1, and I'm obviously have started the frame down here. So if I keep going at the pace I'm going, if I pull this out 2 more times, I should be good. Now if I have time in the month and like want to keep working on it, then I will crank out another creature or 2 more creatures or whatever I can. But my plan and goal for this for the year is to finish this. And the reason being is because when I did the Supernatural Stitch Along, it was very quick for me to do the creature when she released them. So she released them almost every week with like some breaks in the middle. And so what I would do is it would release Friday morning, and I would work on it Friday night. And if I didn't finish it Friday night, I'd be finished Saturday morning. Like I'd have coffee and like finish it. So my plan is whatever I get done this month, I get done. And then in September and October, my plan is to every Friday work on a creature. Cause like usually, like for the most part, Friday nights, if I don't have plans, like I'm stitching all night. So if I can get, that would leave me like 8 Fridays. Like if, let's say, like in theory, I would have like 8 Fridays to get this done. And since I already have the frame done, like I'm really just working on the creatures here, so. And who knows, like maybe I'll crank a bunch out this month on here and like, I won't have, like, I'll just work on it in September. Like, I don't know. That's my goal. We'll see. But I did have a funny story about this, so let me go get the thing. Okay, so I'm back. Obviously, if you've been watching this channel, I think in my second video, my second regular Flosstube update, I had shown my finish of the Supernatural Stitch Along, because I'm telling you, like, I was cranking those out. I was keeping up with that Sal. And so that one's done. So I haven't like pulled that out, obviously. I haven't looked at it. I need to get a frame for it. Well, this one, as I was working on it last night, there are a lot of little skulls like throughout the pattern, just as like kind of cute little fillers and things between the frames. And they have backstitching around them. And of course, yeah, like whatever. I remember that from this and from the Supernatural Stitch Along. And last night, since I was working down here, I was like, oh, let me just get this little doodad done. Well, if you look, I looked at the pattern and I realized the back stitching. It is all the way around, but then he has 2 little like teeths, like back stitches to like show you that it's not just this white blob with eyes, it is a skull. So I look up here and I'm like, well, I didn't do those like teeth back stitches on these, right? I didn't do it on this one. So they're just white little faces, which I will say, when you look at it, it doesn't look that different. Like that's just something that I would notice. So I was like, I looked at my boyfriend last night. I was like, I think I just like I backstitched these wrong. And I think I probably did it on the Supernatural one too. So I was like, well, let me look. So I pulled this guy out, which like, let's take a moment to just like love her for a second. I'm so happy I finished this. But I took a closer look. As you can see on the top border, there are skulls. Do you see any teeth back stitches on that? No. Okay. Then we've got some right here. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. I don't know why in the world I completely missed. But look, I did it on this black skull that the siren is holding. Like, I don't know why I completely missed that there are the two little lines of backstitch. So now I'm faced with, like, I've done it on one of these, right? So, like, do I go back and do it for these on the Cryptid? And then do I go back and do it for all of the skulls on this one? Like, that's a lot. I don't want to. And, like, to me now, it's just, like, it's a funny story. And, like, these little skulls are just honestly little white blobs with eyes without that backstitching, I guess. But yeah, so that was something I discovered last night, and I don't know, like, you can sound off in the comments, but I cannot promise you that I'm gonna go back and backstitch all of those skulls correctly. I just don't know if I have it in me spiritually. Like, I just don't think I can do it. But it's really funny. Whatever. I'm gonna continue backstitching them correctly on the Cryptid stitch along. But I don't know if I'm gonna go back and correct them. So we'll see. I actually have two more webs to show you. The first one is from a WIPGO call from February. It was one of my small WIPGO calls. My goal for this was to reach 25% because it is a bit of a bigger small. And this is a Patreon pattern by Night Spirit Studios, and it's called Nadia. And this is from a show that I love called What We Do in the Shadows. It's on Hulu if you're interested. I'm just gonna put, since it's black, sorry, I definitely have like cat hair and things on this, but so this is where I got to, and I'll show you where I was before. So I got most of her face done and a lot of the red, like neon part done, because it's supposed to look like the neon like light from her nightclub. So yeah, so this is what I got done. I was like, it was so funny because I only had like maybe 2 days left of February, and I was like, I hadn't pulled this out yet at all. And I really want to try to at least attempt to finish a goal. And I was like, okay, I can get to 25% on this, right? And it did. It took me like, I stitched on it for one night and then a little bit the next morning, and I got to 25%. So I don't know if I'll pull this back out this month, or not this month, this year. I will say if there's like a new season of this show that comes out, I will definitely pull this out to stitch on it while we watch it. But this is really nice. It's really like mainly 2 colors of DMC for like the actual signage part. And then it was just some white and gray for her face. But yeah, this is stitched on 18 count black Aida, like a lot of these projects I have are. That is just my comfort zone with black Aida. I love just like a 18 count Zweigart black Aida. Can't go wrong with that. Alrighty. So that was another one of my whips, my actual last whip that I have to show you. This was a WIPGO call for February, one of the bigger projects. And I had put this away for some reason. That's why like I didn't have it with me. Was not organized today, I guess. My goal for this was to get 2 motifs done, and I did that. So this is 1844 Lady Man by Bendy Stitchy. This is not that big of a project. And I know that if I probably worked on it like 5 more times, I'd get it done. But for now, I'm happy with the progress I got. and I did hit my goal on this, so I'll take it. So I am stitching this on 18 count, nope, 28 count. I believe it's Milk and Honey. I think it's the called for. So yeah, Milk and Honey linen from Fiber on a Whim. So that's what I'm stitching it on. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC because I love it. I love the colors in this. Okay. So this is where I got to. So I did finish the Lady Man himself, finally. I did that 1/1 face stitching there, which was a good time. I got the words Lady Man in there, and then I finished up this motif. Or I started and finished that motif. And I started a little bit on the grass. I think I'm probably gonna stitch, I usually stitch in a hoop, but I think I'm gonna stitch this grass in hand because it's half stitches, like going one way or the other way. And I feel like that'd be faster and easier for me, I think. I'm not the best at stitching in hand, but it's half stitches. A little bit of drama. I did mess this motif up somehow and I couldn't figure it out because I am a frogger. I will frog and I will correct it. But I ended up having to quite literally just fudge it, and yeah, like I don't know how to show you where I messed up, but I basically counted somewhere wrong and this is like too far down, I think. And so what happened was I had to cut off this bottom line of white, or like ecru, on this house. So honestly, it looks fine. But yeah, I was not frogging this whole thing out and trying to figure out where I messed up. So yeah, that is 1844 Lady Man. I don't know if I'll pull this out again this year, but I'm happy with the progress. So I don't know, I might pull it out again this summer because I don't know why it feels like a summer stitch to me. I think the next time I pull Lady Man out, I would like to get at least one butterfly done, maybe the grass done to get that like going and everything, but yeah. Okay, so that was all for my whips. So I do want to kind of go over, before I get into haul, I do kind of want to go over my goals. So just like, and I've shown this before, but like I use Notion that's my window. I use Notion to kind of like keep track of goals for each month. So these are my March goals and these were my January goals. But I'm not going to go through everything, but basically so far, counting up here, January, I've only missed one goal. I completed all goals except for one, and that was to finish all the cross stitches on, I have a Mill Hill kit going on. I felt okay about not completing that goal because I take my Mill Hill kit like when I travel or like go visit someone, because it's easy to just like travel with and take out, stitch in the car, stitch at someone else's place with like not a lot of lighting or whatever. So I'm fine with that. That goal will eventually get done this year. February, I only did not complete 2 goals. So one of them was finish part 2 of Reaching Skyward by Modern Folk Embroidery. Didn't get close, so that's just not happening. And I'm okay with that. We're accepting it. And then my other WIPGO goal WIPGO pull for last month was my full coverage Nightmare Before Christmas pattern. And it's stitched on, I started this like at the very beginning of me getting into things, cross stitch. And it's stitched on 16 count Aida, and like, I'm not loving working on it. I also like am just pulling DMC out of my master set of DMC, and that's kind of like not the most fun because now I've gotten so used to floss drops and just like pulling a string out. So I pulled it out once last month. I haven't even shown it because it just like, I put in like 15 stitches, which on a full coverage, that's like nothing. So, so didn't do that. And then for this month, I just wanted to kind of like give you an idea of like what my goals are. One is to finish part 3 of the Natural World stitch along that I showed you. My other one was finish part 3 of Reaching Skyward, which if I don't reach those goals every month, it is what it is. Like, it's okay. Finish part 6 of the Halloween wreath. That should be easy. I get that done within like 2 stitching sessions. And then I have finished one goal, which was to finish the Star Woman stitch along. She's done. I would like to finish part 6 of Dark Queen, which I think is very doable because that one's not that much stitching. Finish 3 Cryptid creatures, which I've already talked about. And then finish the Beware of Cat. I would like to finish that, but we'll see how that goes. And then I have the Satsuma Christmas ornament, like 12 Days of Christmas ornaments. I would like to finish one of those. I've only done one, so the second day of Christmas, I would like to do that. And then my last goal, which is one of my big WIPGO calls for this month, is finish 1 page on Mary Morgan's, which I'm excited for because I have like a pretty decent amount done on her. I'm not going to show her today, but I'm excited to, you will see her next time, I promise, and hopefully with lots of progress. But all right, I'm going to go into haul, which is very, very quick. So the first thing I got was my Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric of the month. This was for February. I did change over to 32 count linen because I have a lot of 40 count colorful fabrics now. And I'm also in the Be Stitch Me fabric club of the month this year, also getting 40 count with the neutrals. So I wanted to get some 32 count because I like stitching on all counts. So this is called Alice's Garden. It's kind of washing it out a bit. It is very green. And I will say, and this is just how it goes, but, so this is the full piece. It is very, very, very green. Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, she is in the same club, and she got this, I believe, in 36 count, the same fabric, and her cut is like, dare I say, prettier than mine. It's like, hers is more of this, like these splotches of pink. And I really didn't get a lot of the splotches of pink. I just got a lot of green. And I know that's how like hand-dyed fabric goes. Like, I'm not complaining. But this one did kind of stump me as like what I'm gonna stitch on this. But I'm kind of want to dive into Fancy Ladies a little bit. But I'm kind of picky. So I did, this has been on my wish list, but I think, I forgot her name, but I think it's like Greta's Broomstick or something like that by Bella Filipino Designs. I'll put a picture of it here. I have not purchased it yet, but it's on my wish list, and I think this fabric might be perfect for it. And since it's 32 count, I can stitch that on this and do the beading and everything, and it'd be fine. So that's my thought. I did go ahead and pay my invoice for this month for Fiberlicious, but now that I have the Be Stitch Me, I might cancel. I may in the future come back to them, but I do have lots of like colorful fabric at the moment, and I do love color, but I need some neutrals. All right, the next, so this is kind of half haul, half stash dive. So I got my Be Stitch Me fabric of the month as well. And this one is 40 count linen, and it is called Flan. Oh my God, this one's, okay. So like, yeah. I'll show you the full piece. So it's nice because it's like kind of dark on one side a little bit, gets a little bit lighter with the modeling. It's so pretty. So I was talking, I think Megan, the Seattle Stitcher, she said that this would be great for Hawk Run Hollow, which I agree, and I am tempted. But what I like to do when I get these fabric of the months is I like to stash dive into patterns I already have to see like, all right, what I don't have fabric for. And I have this Fox and Rabbit. This is Margaret Felicia Dyson that I got last year at Market. Otherwise known as like the acid flower sampler. I mean, cause what? What is that? Carrie from Tiger Lily Designs is stitching this at the moment. I think she's almost done. And it's so pretty. She did an Aurifil floss conversion, which looks awesome. I think I might just stitch this in the DMC. We'll see. But I was thinking, call me crazy, I know this is like really modeled, and that's like maybe not a look that everyone would love. But I'm thinking this is like such a crazy pattern that like, why not? But I think I would use the lighter end of this. Like, yeah. We'll see. I also did kind of do I did do a floss toss for myself. I didn't take pictures of it, I don't think, but I did do a floss toss for myself, and there is yellow in the border and then like chunks here. I'm going to replace that with like a bright light orange because I'm not a fan of yellow, and I think orange and pinks are cute together, so that might be the one color I change, but I think I'm going to keep everything else. But yeah, so I'm thinking I might do that. I don't have plans to start this anytime soon, but that's what I like to do with these fabric of the months, is I like to kind of like deep dive into my stash, see what I already have, and then pair them up. And that might not be permanent. I might change my mind, but that is just like how I feel about my fabric of the month situation. I don't have any other haul. I do now. I did make Market purchases, don't you worry. But I'm gonna wait till I get them to kind of go over my Market picks, because my Market picks are the ones I bought. Obviously there were so many beautiful ones that I liked, but like I'm not made of money, so like I so I got the ones that I like really wanted. But yeah, so that is it for stitching. I went over my goals, I went over whips, I went over no new starts. Is that crazy? Is this my first video with no new starts? I don't know. Yeah, so that's it. If you would like to listen to me talk about books, you can stay. If that's not your thing, then you will not miss anything after this moment. No stitchy things will happen after this. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. And yeah, thank you so much. All right, so if you're staying, I have lots of books to talk about. And I'm gonna try to keep it like quick and short, but I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna just start. So I'm just gonna put the picture of the book up, and the author will be there. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is The Silent Patient. This one was like a psychological thriller. Oh my God. Okay, this one was really good. At first I was like, I don't know about this. But then it got more into it, and like it is a male narrator for half of it. It kind of goes back and forth between POVs, and it was really interesting. And obviously there's like a mystery of like who done it sort of thing that they're kind of trying to gather. And one of the characters that is the silent patient, she doesn't talk. And so there's like this motivation to get her to talk and talk about like what happened. And the other main narrator is her psychologist that works at this hospital. And it's like very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic because obviously she's not talking, but then it kind of goes back into her past, like her diary entries and things. And you're starting to kind of gather what type of person she is. And then they do a whole switcheroo. Let's just say that. And like, you kind of don't know what's going on. Like, you start to get to a point where you're like, what is time and what is happening? And who can I, like, what narrator can I trust? Which I think is super fun. So I really enjoyed this one. I did give it 5 stars. Not that that really means anything. If I like the book at all, like, it's probably gonna get 5 or 4 stars. That's how I feel. Then I read, by the same author, I read The Maidens. And this was another psychological thriller, whodunit, but it was a completely different setting. So this was like in, I believe it was Oxford, like England, or maybe Cambridge. I don't know. It was one of those like UK colleges. And it was similar to the Silent Patient. There were some like Greek tragedy like correlations in there. They were kind of trying to make like parallels in the Greek tragedies. And with the Silent Patient, it wasn't as like I guess it wasn't as like obvious or like talked about, but The Maidens, it was very much like that was the whole point. And there are these college girls, and there's like maybe like this mysterious American professor, and there's these other players involved, and the narrator, she is the aunt of one of the college girls, and like people start to go missing around the college campus and things. And so it was good. I did not like it as much as The Silent Patient, I will say, but it's also a completely different vibe. And like, I'm not super into Greek, Roman, like, tragedies and like mythology and stuff like that. Like, that's just not my jam. I know it's a lot of people's though. So like, if you were into that and you're into like dark psychological, like kind of crime thrillers, then I say read it. I will say, I urge you to read The Silent Patient first, because there is like a bit of an Easter egg, I don't know if you want to call it that, in The Maidens, but it does take place in the same universe. Let's just say that. So that was cool. But yeah, I think I gave that like 4 stars or 5 stars. I can't remember. I really liked it. So anyways, then I took a break and I read November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I love reading trash. Okay, I say this all the time, but it's just like, I like taking a break from, I do this with TV too, right? Like, I watch a really serious show and then I watch Love Island or Married at First Sight or Survivor. Survivor's good, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I watch reality TV because like, it's a fun break. And I feel the same with like these romance books by Colleen Hoover that have twists in them and stuff, because it still keeps me engaged, but it's like, this is something else. So November 9, you start out and there's 2 18-year-olds that meet. And so immediately I was like, no, because I don't relate to an 18-year-old. Like, I don't care. And like, I like didn't experience those types of things when I was 18. So to me, it's unrealistic, right? But then you realize there are time jumps. So it's not going to be like 2 18-year-olds forever. So just letting you know, that's a good thing. But this was like very interesting. There was a good twist at the end. It could have been predictable, but again, like, I turn my brain off when I read these. So like, it wasn't predictable for me. I was like, oh my God, because like, whatever. But it was funny. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been funny, but I was like, dang, there were some good twists. I did kind of like the setup of how the time jumps went, because to me, that kept it less boring, because I feel like it would have been really boring if it was like, if the time jumps weren't involved. So I did appreciate that. So yeah, I think I gave this like 4 stars, like whatever. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Maybe 3 stars. I can't remember. Follow me on Goodreads if you want to know, because it's there. But yeah, so that was fun. I also read Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This is my favorite limited series of all time, like ever. Like, so my favorite show of all time is The Peaky Blinders, but like limited series, Sharp Objects is my favorite thing on this earth. It is everything. It is so dark. I'm telling you right now, like, trigger warning. It is dark. It is a dark, dark show. And so when I read the book, I was excited because I wanted to just absorb more of that world and like see kind of what the main character's thoughts were more in the book. And I will say the people that did the show did a fantastic job of going from book to movie. Or not movie, but limited series. So reading the book was amazing. 5 stars, obviously. Like, this is just such a good story. And so it's the narrator is a journalist who I believe works in Chicago or St. Louis. I can't remember. And then her boss basically is like, hey, there is a girl that went missing in your hometown. It's a small town in Missouri, I think southern Missouri. And like, we're sending you there. You need to go write the story and like get the scoop, essentially. And so the main character, Camille, she goes to her hometown, and you meet her mother and stepfather, and you get to know these different characters in the town and like the vibes that are happening while this investigation unfolds. And that kind of sounds like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a normal like journalist investigation story, but it gets so like dark, and you really get to know like what types of townspeople these are, and like it's Southern Gothic, but if it's Southern Gothic but set in the summer, and everyone is drunk and everyone is sweating profusely. That is what Sharp Objects is. It is, and to me, like, it's so funny. I think I was talking about this, but like, this goes back to cross stitch, but a lot of cross stitch like summer patterns are always like lighthouses and lobsters and crabs and like, you know, like all those types of things. It's like kind of like East Coast vibes. But to me, as a person from Southern Virginia, that is not summer. Summer is mosquitoes and lightning bugs and sweat and lemonade and sweet tea and, you know, like, just, I don't know. It's so good. So anyways, I really enjoyed the limited series. Obviously, I've watched it over and over again. I do a rewatch every summer, and I do a rewatch every like fall, like towards Halloween, because that's just routine here, okay? So that was good. The next one I read was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This one, it was funny. This one was a long book, I will say. They could have chopped a little bit out, but it's fine. This one was really cute and dark too. It's like a horror novel, you know, like what it says essentially. And it's like if you grew up in the 90s, it's like if your mom in the 90s had a book club and like started to become kind of like a Nancy Drew around the neighborhood, and kind of maybe was going a little cuckoo, and you were like, you're their kid and you're like, what's happening? Like, it's kind of that kind of vibe. The narrator is complicated. Like, I kind of liked how it was written. I will say this was written by a man, and it was funny because I saw a review that tore this book apart. But the review was by another man, so I will say that. So if you are on Goodreads and you see that 1-star review, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think that women characters are not one-dimensional, and women characters cannot always be like the strong, independent woman that like is gonna take charge and, you know, say F you to their husbands. Like, that is not how life works. And so for me, this narrator and like these women characters that are like living in this small town in the South in the 90s, to me, I liked it. I think there are times where you get a little bit annoyed with the narrator and like it does feel like a little cliche, almost Steel Magnolias type of vibe. But I liked it. And it, you know, that mixed with like, it's actually like scary. Like there are parts where like there's this, you get towards the end and you're in this part where like there's an attic situation and it's like, oh, like the description, there's bugs. Like, so yeah, if you don't like bugs, like maybe skip that part, but, but it was really good. So I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars, period. Okay. And then what was then I took a break and I read another Colleen Hoover book, All Your Perfects, which my sister warned me this was like just a sad one. She was correct. I didn't love this one, I will say. This was not my favorite. It does talk about infertility and things like that. So if you are not interested in that, or if that's like triggering for you, don't read this book. It was interesting. The romance of it, to me, I was like, okay, like that's like a cool story, whatever. But then the like struggles that are in this marriage, in this book, it's like, to me, it's not unrealistic. But to me, I'm like, y'all couldn't have communicated. Like, I did get really frustrated where I was just like, just talk. Like, there's no way you go that long in your marriage without breaking, without talking, like, without going to somebody. Like, it just, to me, it was very unrealistic. And also, like, without speaking about my own experiences, the infertility part was, like, a little bit, there was not much nuance to it. It was very one-dimensional. It was very stereotypical. Woman can't have baby, therefore is worthless type of vibe. Like, it was, and the ending, like, I guess, like, Colleen Hoover tried to save that type of, like, vibe by doing the ending, but it was like, this is stupid. Like, this could have happened years before in this timeline. Like, that, to me, it wasn't, this is my most scathing review so far. I think I gave it like 3 stars, who knows? But yeah, it just wasn't, it wasn't realistic to me. The infertility journey was very, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So that's how I feel about that. And then the next, but this is the last book I have to talk about, I promise. This one is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So I think my last book talk, I talked about Riley Sager's The House Across the Lake. I loved that one. Like, it was, I was really surprised by how, like, I don't know, it was really good. So when I read this one, I was like, okay, like, I am expecting probably some sort of like paranormal or supernatural type of twist. And it kind of does lead you to believe that, but there, yeah, like, I don't know, the twist was really good. So, it's a really great vibe. Basically this, the narrator is down on her luck, not doing well, like lost her job, all those things. And she sees an ad on Craigslist for a job, but it's like to stay at this apartment. And so she goes and she tours the apartment. It's in this huge historic building in Manhattan. And the woman's like, yeah, like, we're going to pay you $12,000 to stay here and just like occupy the space and keep it clean for 3 months. And of course, I would do this. I would be like, yes, absolutely, no questions asked. But then there are all these rules that are brought up, like no guests, and you have to stay the night in the apartment, which makes sense, right? $12,000, like whatever. But yeah, the story just unfolds, and there are other temporary tenants that are staying at this place, and you get to know some of the permanent tenants that live there. And it was just a really good book. I finished it in like 2 days. I really, really enjoyed that one. So that is my last book for book talk. I went on forever, but I had a lot of books to talk about. So for my next video, I might only have like a few, but I had like kind of a backlog. So I think that was it. Yeah. So that's all. Thank you for staying. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting. If you enjoyed my book talk, I will keep doing that in the future. I got some good feedback last time, which was really nice because I don't know what I'm doing. So that is that. Again, I will put my link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Buy Me a Coffee in the description. Thank you so much. If you stayed for my entire video today and my last video, thank you. I still feel the same. It's been a hard few weeks, just work and all the things, and I'm very much looking forward to a vacation this summer. I'll say that. But yeah, I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Please have some happy stitching, read some good books, eat some good food, and try to relax and enjoy March. So yeah, bye guys.